In the middle.
Why don't you go sit over by Paige?
Who's Paige?
And Jordan.
Okay. So my name's Michelle Donaldson. I'm a nurse at Sonoma Valley Hospital, and one of my missions in life is Haiti. That started about last June. So we've been to Haiti twice in the last couple of months, and we have another trip planned in April, and then we have another trip in July, and we're probably gonna go in between then too. So, can I ask you guys, what do you know about Haiti so far? So I know do you know anything? Anything about the country, what's going on? Why are we even looking at Haiti?
What'd you learn last night, guys?
There was an
There's
earthquake.
an earthquake.
Okay, that's the start.
Okay, do you know when the earthquake was?
Last January.
Last January, good. So, does anybody know the death toll?
We did not talk
Wanna
about
guess? If there's anything you want me not to say, just give me that look.
Nope.
Okay. Wanna guess?
$500,000.
Not that many. 300,000 and counting. That's not including the cholera. That's a direct result of the earthquake because of the sanitation issues that they're having right now. Cholera is an intestinal tract bacteria that gets in and just dehydrates you to death. So that's happening right now. It's getting a little bit better, and on the pictures you'll see they have some education up around the city that tells them how to keep their hands clean without soap and water, and lack of a better way of putting it, go to the bathroom a certain way so they don't spread the bacteria around. So what we did this last time we went, we've been back for about a month, is we set up a clinic in a tent city. So a tent city is literally like not the elaborate tents that you guys are probably used to if you go camping. These are just tarps, and I have lots of pictures of those. They're like mostly blue or white tarps over some steel bars. These are these people's homes now. Before the earthquake, they actually lived in houses. They were still very impoverished people, but they actually had a house, and it had a roof, and it was concrete. So they got displaced after the earthquake. They've lost pretty much their whole families, most of them. And so the survivors are now displaced into tents, and they've created tent cities. And so we went to one of these tent cities that was 15,000 people live in one. And they kind of create a community. They have a mayor of their tent city. Sean Penn actually has his own.
Sean Penn.
He does, he lives there. And they have security in the good ones. A lot of them don't. They have a lot of violence and problems. But in the good ones, the more structured ones, there's some security set up. So we went in because these tent cities usually don't have any medical care whatsoever, and no bathrooms, no sanitation, anything. So we went in and actually set up a clinic. We had to do a separate clinic than the cholera clinic because the cholera clinic gets so overwhelmed that there's not any way that you can possibly see a fraction of the people. So we set up a clinic for like babies and some people that may have some issues that we could go ahead and deal with the drugs that we brought.
How many people were on your team to set up for a tent city of 15,000?
9. We had 9 people, and there was only 6 medical people.
Okay, guys, I want you to think of how many people are in Sonoma Valley, okay? Sonoma Valley here in this town. And think of how many people are employed at the hospital and the different doctors and everything. There's definitely more than 9. Yet they had 9. Okay, go
Yeah.
on.
So we had totally off on this, but I think Sonoma has 10,000 people in it. So this tent city was bigger than Sonoma. So we saw between 800 and 900 people in between Monday and Friday afternoon. It was a constant stream of people. And so we did see a lot of people, but we also realized that not everyone is coming, which was really concerning to us. So we would pack some backpacks full of stuff and actually walk through the tent cities, and which was really, really eye-opening to see how the people actually live. I mean, it's one thing for them to come to the clinic, it's the other thing to actually go and see where they're living. And so we walked through the tent city, and we would actually, we found a lot of people that were too sick to come, and we were able to hydrate some people and give them these little packets of hydration salts. This particular tent city actually had their own water system, which was pretty good. I mean, that is something that most people don't have. And so they were able to do the hydration salts and rehydrate. So we made quite a dent there. So we did that Monday through Friday. On Saturday, the CEO of the company we went with, that's called Worldwide Village, it's a Christian organization, wanted to show us some things that he had come across, because our team had such very educated, go-getter type people that were just ready to go, ready to do something. So he brought us to an orphanage that had been, it's back in an area that has been forgotten. You'll see on the pictures that if the buildings have red marking on them, that means that if there is a very, very slight tremor, the type of tremor that we wouldn't even feel here, it would go down. It's dangerous, you shouldn't be in it. If it has yellow marking, it means that it can be rebuilt. If it's got green marking, it's okay. You can live in it, and it's just cracked, and maybe like half is fallen, but the structure is okay. So this orphanage, which is just a bunch of kids ranging from one, maybe even less than one, but maybe 6 months to about, how old are you guys? 16, 17? That was probably the oldest one there. So these kids had lost their families, had lost their siblings, actually pretty much found them on the streets and brought them in. A local preacher who had lost his entire family in the earthquake started slowly getting these kids in and realizing there's these kids in the city that were orphaned on the streets. And a lot of them were severely malnourished and probably going to pass away. So he found an abandoned building with red lettering, and it was at least shelter over their heads. And so he brought them in and started teaching them Bible verses and teaching them how to write on these makeshift chalkboards, and found rocks and plywood, which is that's their beds. They dug a hole to go to the bathroom in. There's 60 kids there now. So we spent the day with them, and we didn't bring a lot of cash with us to this orphanage. We wish we would have a little more, but we got $40 together between us, and we're able to feed 60 kids for 4 days. So if you put that in perspective, I mean, you spend that on pizza.